Hello and welcome to this sellability video. Today we're going to be doing something quite different whereby hopefully it brings quite a bit of clarity to what I would call just pure confusion contrived by certain courses and certain gurus. So not all, but certain ones. And those certain ones I would say are like the sort of gurus that are on a yacht in a really nice country that are telling you, yeah, Amazon's a get rich quick scheme and just do XYZ and you'll end up like me in no time. Nope, that's an absolute lie. It does not work like that. It's not a get rich quick scheme. I really wish that that tag wasn't attached to Amazon like at all. What that really is you can get rich through Amazon. You can make more money through Amazon. That potential is solidly there, but it by no means is a quick process. Maybe it's quicker for some than others, but ultimately it's not going to be do XYZ 1 2 3 boom done. That's not going to be the case for anything apart from if you win the lottery. That's the quickest way, like the only true quick way actually, that you can make money like that. So this get rich quick scheme and Amazon, if that's what you've been told, if that's what you've been taught, please remove that from your mind and pretend that you never heard it. Instead, take on board the definition that I've just given you there, because that is the true one. And I'm seeing that it's not a common thing, because as I say, it's certain courses, certain sellers, but I'm seeing it brought up from time to time with beginners that are, really looking to get started. And I really want to tackle this because the beginners that fall for this sort of stuff and, they come out on the bad side of it, which is kind of inevitable, they're then put off of doing anything like this, which I would say is wrong, and it's not right, because like everyone deserves that chance to better an element of their lives, to try something like this, and quite rightly so have some successes with it. So what I'm trying to tackle today is this misconception that it's as easy as buying a load of products from Alibaba because it's very, very cheap, flip them on Amazon, and like that's it. That's all you have to do. No, it's not like that whatsoever. So let me explain to you why, and I'm going to dissect a listing and tell you what exactly is wrong with buying from Alibaba if you're trying to do online arbitrage, retail arbitrage, wholesale. There's one thing that Alibaba is good for in my opinion, but we're going to cover that a little bit later on in the video. So we're going to dissect a listing. And this is actually a real example that was brought to my attention not too long ago by a new seller who just wanted a bit of clarification about if this was a good one to go with. And, I'm kind of thankful that I was asked, because then I was able to debunk it and advise them against this and why Alibaba basically is not the best idea for OA, wholesale, especially for a beginner. Which isn't anyone's fault. It's, as I say, down to certain misteachings, and hopefully this video is really clarifying on this point. So I'm on Alibaba right now. This is a Monopoly board game. So if you're on this kind of track and you are starting out and you're thinking, oh yeah, things like this would do really well, you are right with that sense. But Alibaba isn't really the way to do it. And here's why. This is just a listing on Alibaba. So Monopoly board game, the classic edition. So nothing wrong with that necessarily, at least not yet. Monopoly is quite a safe bet for Amazon, like these sorts of board games are, if you can get them from a verified supplier for a good enough price. And of course, flipping them on Amazon, these things do quite well sales wise, and depending where you get it from, profit wise as well. So these sort of things, if you're thinking about that, good on you. But here is why it's not going to work with something like Alibaba. So let's firstly look at who it's being sold by. So it's this random company. They are verified on Alibaba. They've been around for quite a while on this site. However, they are a verified custom manufacturer. So that is red flag number one. Why are they selling something like this? Because this isn't a customized item. This is Monopoly. So why are they doing something like that? It doesn't make any sense. The two don't fit together. It's like it's like McDonald's selling Kentucky Fried Chicken. It just doesn't fit. So let's look at some of these listing images first. So Monopoly board game should be nice and simple, right? No. Firstly, let's look at these images. They are completely different. No two are the same, and they're not like showing the same version of Monopoly. So it's really unclear as to which one you're getting. It says Monopoly Board Game Classic Edition, but it's also saying Monopoly Super Electronic Banking Board Game. So that would tell me, this second part would tell me it's this, but the first bit's telling me this one. However, which version of Monopoly is it? Because I won't know what to list on Amazon unless I know what specific Monopoly it is, so I can actually go ahead and list it. If we look at this video here, this Monopoly, like right there, it looks like it's from like the 80s or something. Like that's really retro. And the box right here is totally different from the one right here. And they've even got some other board games in this same picture. Why is that? That makes absolutely no sense. I don't even know what those other board games are. The Monopoly on there is a much more modern edition. It seems to have some like coloured pieces that I'm sure don't go with Monopoly. Like it's usually the metal pieces. It even shows that on the box, and they're nowhere to be. Oh, well, actually, sorry, say that, and they are there. But there's some random coloured bits on there that, yes, some of them are houses, but there's some other ones like right here, and I have absolutely no idea what they are. So, like, what even is this? And then let's look again. You've got these random board games like all together in one image. Like, what is that? That's not Monopoly. Then you've got the Monopoly Ultimate Banking Edition, right? And there wouldn't really be a problem with this, except from the fact that if we go into the variations and choosing one, the option is colour white. Like, what even is that? That's like, that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Colour white does not tell me whatsoever which version of Monopoly I'm going to be getting if I was to order from this supplier, right? Now, I think the like real appealing thing about Alibaba, which is kind of like a honey trap, is the pricing. $7.30 for 500 through to 999 pieces. Crazy. But one of my life rules is if it looks too good to be true, then it probably is. And if you look at that 730, wow, that's amazing. But obviously the other red flags that I've already pointed out. And if you look at the shipping, $439.28. And I get it, it's for 500 pieces and it's coming from China, but that's a crazy amount. And if you were to factor that into your analysis, that has definitely got to like cause a massive imbalance just by how much you are spending on shipping. That's crazy. And guaranteed delivery by April the 9th. At the time of recording this, it's the 31st of January. Things could have really changed on Amazon's front by that point. Like, I would have probably forgotten that I've even ordered these by the time they actually come. Right? So, a crazy amount of costing there for the shipping fee, and the delivery, like, why would I want to wait that long? That's about 3 months away. So first, like, there's a bunch of red flags on there. And then if you were to actually look at that seller's store, like, in fact, let's look at the description. So classic edition experience, electronic banking feature, right? Those two don't go together because the classic one's completely different. The games come in a colour box and has a customized size. Right? So I don't think they are going to be legit sort of like vendors of Monopoly whatsoever. And I don't think that's just a thought. I think that's a fact, just based on several red flags we are already seeing in this listing. If we have a look at the reviews and ratings, you'll notice that there are none for this product. They do, however, have a lot of ratings and reviews on very generic products. Okay? If we go to this person's store, we can see that is the case here as well. We can see that a lot of their stuff is very generic or unbranded. And so, given that this seems to be their forte, I wouldn't say it's going to be a very safe bet whatsoever to go ahead with Monopoly from them. Okay? There's nothing I can see on here that is really going to convince me that they are legit. So avoid. Alibaba is not the one for RA, OA, Wholesale. In fact, sorry, I don't know why I'm saying RA there, because that makes no sense because there's not an Alibaba store. But for OA and Wholesale even, just Arbitrage and Wholesale, like, it makes no sense to do Alibaba, right? But I will tell you what you can look out for. If you have a feeling that you want to do a little bit more research into it and see if you can potentially get it from Alibaba, you need to look at things like brand authenticity. Okay, so Monopoly is a trademark product owned by Hasbro. If you try and sell something that is counterfeit, which I have a feeling this basically is, or unlicensed, is one of the two in this case, that is going to cause an IP issue, and that's going to affect your Amazon account. Not to mention there can also be like legal issues attached to that as well. Custom manufacturers typically won't have any licensing for anything like this. So with that in mind, it should hopefully cross off a lot of things that you see that are like this on Alibaba. All of the listing details that we've been through, again, are solid red flags. The fact that they are a custom manufacturer, like full stop, should put you off. Now, if you want to take some extra steps just to double check, what you can do is try and verify the brand authentication. So in this case, it would be a case of like reaching out to this seller and seeing if they do actually have brand authorization, if this is legitimate and they can actually prove it. Check the Alibaba supplier credentials. So there'll be a bunch of that on their profile, wherever it was. There'll be a bunch of that on their profile. There'll be little bits in here as well. As I say, communicate with the seller, see what's going on. Request samples if possible. If they can do you a sample, which I highly doubt they will, but just in case, if they can do you a sample, you will know exactly what you're getting. However, I wouldn't waste any time doing that because, as I'm trying to teach you in this video, this sort of thing isn't going to work for wholesale or arbitrage, okay? Avoid these sort of things at all costs because it will literally cost you. You don't want to spend all of this. Like, it might only be this much for however many monopolies, but that shipping cost is crazy. And if you try and list it on Amazon, you're going to get into trouble with Amazon. Your account's going to be gone before you've even gotten started with it. It's just going to be a real mess. Now, I will tell you what you can use Alibaba for and what it is, in my opinion, good for. It is good for generic products, okay? And that's what a lot of private label sellers use it for. This is an example. So obviously you can get a load, like loads and loads and loads of mugs, for example, in bulk. And that is really good for if you have your own private label business and you're going to stick your own branding or whatever it is on it and you make it truly your own. So for generic products, and if you are focusing on private label, things like Alibaba are great, okay? Because it, like, obviously that's what you're going for when you are doing private label. I had a look at this supplier on Google, and the only things they're attached to is AliExpress and Alibaba. So that tells me that they're not going to be verified whatsoever to sell Monopoly. Like, there's no brand authorization there. So I don't know what it is that they're trying to sell, but it's an absolute no. Hopefully this dissection of this listing and everything that I've advised in this video has been really useful to you and helped clarify some misteachings. Don't fall into that trap. If you think it's as easy as this, it really, really isn't. If you are looking to get into wholesale and buy in bulk, because it is a great method, do it with legitimate wholesalers, not Alibaba. That's how you're going to get somewhere with buying in bulk and, getting a lot of products for a discounted rate. Go through the routes of legitimate wholesalers, and that's how you're going to be able to do that. Things like this, no. Hopefully this video is helpful. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you later.